toning is like pantyhose for hair. So let me go ahead and line all of these bad boys up so you can really see the progression in the saturation of the finish. Hey guys, it's Mirella here, and today I'm going to share with you how to tone hair, but specifically, how long do you leave the toner on for? It's the number one question that I get asked, aside from what formula should I actually use. So today what I'm going to be utilizing is a white hair swatch. So anytime you want to see the color for what it is, the tone, the saturation, white hair swatches are always going to be your best friend. So they're a really great tool to have in the salon on your downtime, just to kind of test and play with some colors or maybe some new formulas that you want to mess with. The next thing that I use in this test is Kenra Color's Demi Permanent hair color. So specifically I use 7BC, and the reason why I decided to go with 7BC is that way you could really see the tone, the level, and the saturation over that white hair swatch. So if you've been in one of my classes, you've probably heard me say the analogy that toning is like pantyhose for hair. It's gonna cover the hair, give it a nice pretty gloss and shine, and make the hair look completely flawless. I even take that analogy a step further by describing the pantyhose for hair with 5 minutes of processing is like sheer pantyhose and 25 minutes is like opaque tights. So I took my 7BC in Demi Permanent and mixed it up 1:2. So with Kenra Color Demi Permanent, you can actually mix it up 1:1 for maximum saturation or for gray blending. But in this scenario, I decided to do the 1:2, which is pretty typical for toning, glazing, and color equalizing. Now, one thing to note about Demi Permanent hair color is that it is progressive. What that means is the longer you leave it on, the more saturation of a finish that you're gonna get. It's not necessarily gonna make it darker, it's gonna keep it the same color and tone, it's just gonna provide you with more saturation the longer you leave it on. Whereas with permanent hair color, there's usually an end time to the processing, which means it's non-progressive. That means typically at the end of 40-45 minutes, permanent hair color is completely done processing. It's not gonna continue to get darker. Therefore, using permanent hair color during a balayage, for example, is probably a great choice, because if you left it on for 2 hours, it's not going to get darker and it's not going to continue to deposit or give you more saturation. So I really wanted to test out the Demi Permanent with different processing times to really show you the difference in that saturation. So again, this is my white hair swatch. And then I decided to go ahead and put that 7BC over the white hair swatch and only process it for 5 minutes. So as you can see, this gave me a really nice blush out of the color and just slightly toned it. So this is going to be the example of the sheer pantyhose. You still can see the level and tone of the white hair, but it's going to give you a nice slight blush of that saturation that maybe that's what you were looking for. I would probably do this type of tone on a client that is kind of anti-toner. You know, the ones that just really like their hair as maximum blonde as they possibly can be, but you kind of see there's a lot of brassiness or yellow in their hair and they need a little something. This 5 minutes is going to do the trick for you. Now, for a little bit more longevity and your typical toning of highlights, I do like to process for a little longer, somewhere between 10 to 15 minutes. So I went ahead and processed this hair swatch for 10 minutes just to show you the difference of, again, of that saturation. So if you need a little bit more control than what that 5 minutes is going to offer you, 10-15 minutes is probably going to do the trick for you. Now for maximum saturation, you can definitely leave it on up to 25 minutes. So that's exactly what I did here with this final swatch. You can see here it has a lot more saturation. It probably looks closest to the 7BC swatch in the Kenra Color book. So this is going to give you that opaque tights finish is at 25 minutes. So let me go ahead and line all of these bad boys up so you can really see the progression in the saturation of the finish. So you can tell that the longer you leave it on, the more saturation in that finish. It's not necessarily darker, it's just depositing more pigment to the hair itself. So I hope that brought some clarity to how long you should leave your toner on for. Just remember, the longer you leave it on, the more saturation that you're gonna get and the more control that you're gonna get. So if you need maximum control, you're probably gonna need to leave it on a little bit longer. If If you got the hair light enough and you just want to quickly blush something out, 5-10 minutes is probably going to do the trick for you. So I hope you liked this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up, comment down below, and subscribe to my channel. I'll talk to you guys later.